I'll bet you're wondering why intermittent fasting for content creator burnout, when you're recovering from burnout and you want to find out if you have the energy to keep going. I know there's a great question for it. My name's Angela Brown. I'm a content creator and I'm going through burnout yet again. This is my journey back. All right. So I talked to you earlier in the week about intermittent fasting. I kind of mentioned it and I didn't really explain the reasons why. There were a couple things that I wanted to talk about before we got to the intermittent fasting. And then today I want to share with you some of the reasons why I chose intermittent fasting as a burnout recovery tactic. Okay, so what I was doing in my personal life, and I want to back up just a step, I am doing 6 live stream shows per week that are all 1 hour long. I'm also doing this show, which is about 15 minutes per day. And so there's a lot of content that we're creating in addition to a bunch of blogs and mini videos, which are the little verticals, horizontal videos, which are shorter versions of our longer show. There's a bunch of courses that we're creating, books that we're writing, 30-day challenges. There's just a lot of content we're in the market of creating right now. And I found myself in burnout going like, I don't want to do any of it today. Not little bits of it. And not some of it is more exciting to me than others. I don't want to do any of it. Okay. So whatever I was doing was not working. So I have to stop, like freeze frame this life and figure out what is working and what is not working. And in order to do that, I know that this part, which is my biggest asset, and I say this part for those of you that are listening to this as a podcast, I'm saying this part meaning me, Angela Brown, I am the biggest asset in my company. And if I'm not feeling well and I am part of every single show that we're producing, I'm going to throw the whole entire rhythm of the business off, right? So what is important for me is that I stop and I took a really strong and honest look at myself. And so it's really easy when you get an app and you're trying to track your calories to go like, well, nobody's looking, but I'll go ahead and I'll just say, I didn't eat that, right? Well, if I am not going to be honest about it, then why track it in the first place? And if I'm not looking at this as a way to recover, then why am I tracking it at all? And so I have to be really honest with myself. And what I was hoping for is radically different results. But what that requires is that I make radically different changes. And so if I'm going to have radically different results, what does that look like? It means me tracking my progress at every level. So I did get a Fitbit and I've been using the Fitbit to track things like my water and the food that I eat. And the Fitbit app that I'm using is the premium app and it has the scan code on it. So I can take something like this is a little tiny pack of organic trail mix, not salted. It's not fried or anything. It's all just natural and organic. I buy it at Costco and it has a little pack on the back of it. You can buy these in a great big box, so you're buying them in bulk. But with that little app right there, I can scan that app on my Fitbit. I can scan that barcode and it will tell me all the calories and exactly what it was. And it brings that into, did I eat that for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a snack? And so I love the little scanning feature because I can scan literally anything that I'm eating and then break it down by ounces or size or whatever. Okay. But what I was finding is that for myself, I was feeling very lethargic and tired and burned out and worrisome and full of angst and just kind of grumpy and irritable. Now, it's easy for me to make excuses. I can blame that all on menopause and no one was the wiser. But the reality is it doesn't matter whether it's menopause or whether it's not. What matters is that it's happening to my body and it's not okay. And so I have to go back in time and I have to say, what can I do differently? So what I decided to do was intermittent fasting, where I could just stop all food. Okay. If I was going to freeze time and stop all food, get it out of my system, then I could start reintroducing things slowly, one at a time. And I could figure out what is working and what is not. So there might be foods that are triggering lethargy or irritability or indigestion or whatever. Okay. So I fasted for 72 hours and I've got links in the notes below on everything that I'm using right now. So there were a couple of podcasts, there are a couple of books that I've read. I've done a whole lot of research over the last week on intermittent fasting and how it helps you recover from burnout. So the first day, and I went on a 72-hour fast before I did like a 16-8, and 16-8 is where you fast for 16 hours and you eat during an 8-hour window. I decided to go cold turkey, 72 hours, get everything out of my system, and then come back on a 24. And the 24 is I fast for 20 hours and then I eat for 4 hours. And the reason for me is I want to keep purging my system, and I want to keep isolating whatever's not working and what is working. And I want to really do this at a granular level because, again, I want radically different results. Okay, so I fasted for 72 hours. Then coming back to the 20 hours, it was like, hey, that's not so bad. I just fasted for 72 hours. This is just kind of a little bit, right? So it was easier to do. All right, now the first day of my fast, I was feeling fine. I did not feel hungry. I did not feel like I was weak or any of those things. I started to get a little hungry at the 24-hour mark. And my body had gone now enough time without food that I was kind of like, when are you going to feed me again? And I was like, I'm not going to eat and I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to power through this. And then maybe I will be fine. One thing that I will mention is that on this fasting, we are drinking water, lots of water to stay hydrated. And we're also drinking herbal teas. And from what I understand, black coffee is okay. I don't drink coffee, so I skip that part. But I noticed at about the 24-hour mark, my body was really wanting something else. And I was feeling depraved, but I didn't know of what. As I went through the day, within a couple of hours, that kind of faded off and I wasn't hungry again. And then I went into 48 hours. And as I started approaching the 48-hour mark, I got really hungry. But in addition to really hungry, my body started really craving something like, I don't know, salt, if you will. And I kept thinking, I really want salt, but I don't know why. And as I did some research, I found that when you intermittent fast, your body starts losing the electrolytes and the salt is missing from your system and your body needs the salt. And so one of the things that I found going online is there are a lot of really expensive salts that you can buy. And that's crazy because I don't think you need to buy a little packet of salt that's $8. To me, that's just crazy. And that's not a good use of anyone's resources. I did find some Himalayan salt that's a non-GMO salt. And I bought this from an online retailer. And this was about $14 for this. It's a really high grain salt that you can use in drinks and whatever. And I've actually switched out all the salt in the house to using this now. I put in a pinch of salt in a little cup of water and I started up and I used warm water. So it was kind of like a tea or a broth. And I drank it and it tasted so good. You wouldn't think that salt tasted good, but it did. Then I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this on a regular basis, I'm going to be fasting all day. I want to make sure I add a little bit of salt back to my diet. So I took a little old gelato container and I filled it up with the Himalayan salt. And I found a little tiny scoop that's just a little scoop. The Himalayan salt did not come with this, but this is just like a little scoop. And I can just dish a little bit out and put it inside some water. So this was more convenient to me. And I think convenience is the key. So convenient to me where I've got a water cooler in my office and the water cooler has hot and cold water. And so I just use my little water bottles during the day and I fill them up with cold water. This time I filled it up with just a little bit of hot water and a little bit of salt in there, swished it around and then drank it. And it was very tasty. Okay. So convenience is the key. So I was able to get through the first 48 hours, no problem. By the 48 hours to 72 hours, I started feeling physically weak. And as I was working out in the mornings, I was kind of like, I'm really just drained. I'm not having enough energy to get through my workouts. And because I started working out on Monday, going all out massive action on my workout, trying to lose the weight, get back in shape and what have you, and purge my body, I was very keen to the fact that I'm in a swimming pool with a bummed up knee from knee surgery, and I haven't eaten in up to 72 hours. So I want to be really keen to the fact that my body is probably not at its best. And so at any moment I could pass out or I could, I don't know, drown or something like that. So I made sure that all my workouts for the first 72 hours, my feet were on the floor of the swimming pool and that my head was above the water. I didn't do anything that was risky that I could just suddenly pass out and then away I go, right? And I was hanging onto the side of the wall. So I was safe and working smart, not hard. Now, one thing that I want to preface before we move any further is that before I started this process, I thought I was dying. I really thought I was dying. I went to the doctor and I had my annual physical and they did all my blood work and all my blood work came back like, hey, you're in perfect shape. I'm like, I just checked and I'm not. Then I had a mammogram. You have no cancer. There's nothing in your body that's dragging you down. I was like, great. Okay, great. Yay. And then I had a colonoscopy and they're like, no cancer. You're great. You're doing fine. You look awesome. I was like, I don't feel that way. And so getting clearance from my doctor, and I explained to my doctor, here's what I want to do. I want to start working out every day. I want to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to start a program where I can rebound from menopause and burnout. And so my doctor's like, okay, cool. Now I want to clarify that I have a program called My Chart, and My Chart is yet another progress monitor, and it's between me and my doctor. And it's connected to like CVS, which is my pharmacy. And in the event that I need any medication, because they gave me a medication when I had my knee surgery, if there's any medication, if there's any correspondence between you and your doctor, it's now all in one space. So you have access to all of your own medical records. You have access to comments that your doctor made about you. You have comments that you made about your doctor. You can ask your doctor a question. You can request an appointment. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do inside My Chart. So what I did is I added with My Chart, I'm adding all of the different elements together in one place. And I'm keeping track of all of my progress over on the lifelongproductions.com/burnout, which is my daily progress. And if you go over there and you check it out, what you're going to see is how many calories I ate today, if I ate any, if I'm fasting, I didn't eat any, how many I burned, how many steps in the course of a day, how much weight I lost, and before and after pictures. Now I want to show you a couple of before and after pictures because this is interesting. This is 1 week of working out and intermittent fasting on my road to recovery. All right, so check this out. And this is not, disclaimer, this is not cute and this is not anything to brag about. Okay, this is my journey back, and this is the most vulnerable I've ever been to show you these pictures. But I want to show them to you because of where I came from. So this is day one, and on day one I weighed 161 pounds, and I took a picture of the scale so that you could see every day as I step on the scale how much I weigh. Now what you'll see is that here I'm in this like two-piece workout suit, and you can see that I've got belly fat around my belly. So now when I wear a pair of jeans, I got these rolls hanging around my middle. And the cool part is I wear like a loose shirt during the day, so it kind of hides those when I'm in public, but to myself, not cute. You'll notice that I've got back fat here that's poking out of the back, and I have zero toning in my arms. When you look at my arms and I'm flexing my arms here, there's absolutely no toning whatsoever in my arms, which is embarrassing because I've always been pretty much in shape. On day two, and we're still into the 48-hour fast, or I'm sorry, the 72-hour fast, you'll notice that I had lost 10 pounds from the day before. So 161.2 on day one, and on day two, 151. Okay, so I lost 10 pounds during that 72-hour fast. Now, I knew that once I started reintroducing food, I was going to gain some weight. I'm going to gain some of that back. So on day three, when we started introducing food again, I didn't gain a lot back, but I didn't lose as much. So now when I started eating again, and if you go over to the lifelongproductions.com/burnout, you'll be able to see every day's journey, but then every day what I'm eating as well. And I broke it down to breakfast, lunch, dinner, morning, afternoon, and evening snacks. And so there are parts of the day where there's no eating because I'm doing the intermittent fasting. But during the evening and the dinner, you'll see what it is that I'm eating. So I lost 1 pound when I started eating again. So I reintroduced food into my diet, and it was at about 1,500 calories. So all my meals coming back are between 1,500 and 1,600 calories a day, which is still kind of on the skinny side if you need 2,000 calories a day for normal consumption. And so for me, I was at probably before about 3,500 calories a day, if I'm being honest with myself. So being honest with myself now, it's like, okay, 1,600 calories is like my max. All right. So on day four, I was 148 pounds. So I lost 1 pound the following day, still eating again. And then on day five, which is today, I've lost yet 1 more pound, or almost 1 more pound. So I'm not setting the world on fire, but in 1 week, down 13 pounds. So I'm going to give myself a thumbs up for that, because being able to lose 13 pounds in 1 week from fasting and doing a detox is incredible. All right. So how did I feel? I'm going to get into that in just a second. But what I really want to pay attention to was the process of intermittent fasting. So a couple days in, one of the things that I found was MCT oil. And MCT oil comes in a container like this. I ended up buying it online. It was shipped to me. It arrived later that afternoon, which is awesome. But 1 drop of this, and this is what do they call it? A medium chain triglyceride. And this is coconut oil. And so 1 teaspoon of this inside, I just put it inside my herbal tea. Um, it's an appetite suppressant is what you really need to know. And so if you're really, really hungry, it will curb your appetite. I was like, wait a second, this could be really helpful in just my mental awareness of not focusing so much on food. Because there were a couple of times during that 3-day fast where I was eating nothing, where I was like, I'm in the kitchen and I'm hungry. And I'm like, am I hungry or am I bored? Because at about the same time every day I come looking for food. So do I really need to be in the kitchen? And am I really hungry or am I just looking for food? I'm like, I think I'm just bored. And this is normally what I do. So then I would leave the kitchen and consciously walk away. So I was able to get through the full 72 hours without breaking my fast with food. When I came back onto breaking my fast, I came back with a smoothie. And the smoothie is a spinach smoothie, and I will leave links in the description to my favorite smoothie recipe. It's very healthy, but I add in there a protein powder and a collagen and a flax seed and a hemp seed and chia seeds. And it's got lots of stuff in it that's really going to help me. I mix it only with water. I don't use any milk or dairy products, and I don't put any sugars or sweeteners or any artificial things in there. I do put in a banana with my spinach, and the banana, I don't know why, the banana and the spinach go together. It tastes delicious. It's really light. I don't feel like I'm really heavy, like it doesn't hard to digest or anything. It processes really nicely, and it's delicious. So I had a smoothie. And then I started cutting back on the size of the smoothies because I was doing a 16-ounce smoothie for a couple of days. Then I was like, maybe I should only be doing like 8 ounces. And so then really asking myself as I'm eating, do I need a whole plate of food or can I eat a smaller portion? And when I want to talk about portions, I'm going to go back to the trail mix. This is a snack for the afternoon. And this is 1.2 ounces of pumpkin seeds and raw almonds. And it's got raisins in it and craisins. And so this is a really great little snack, but it's already prepackaged. And oddly enough, this is not the cheapest way to go. You could actually make your own for a whole lot cheaper. Why I like this right now is because this is a new program for me and I don't have a lot of self-discipline. And so having something that's already in a pack, I can say that's it after one pack. I'm not going to just dip my hand in and get another handful because it's available, right? Just one pack. So it's helping me kind of monitor my eating and my habits. All right, so on to that. Let me tell you about my progress really quick and how I'm doing at day 5, having fasted for 72 hours and then going on the 24 of fasting. All right. So for my content creator sleep, I got 5 hours and 39 minutes of sleep last night, which this week is a huge improvement up from my 3 hours of normal sleeping per night. I got 104 ounces of water yesterday, which I'm sorry, on day 5. Yesterday was day 5. I'm reporting on day 5 yesterday. On day 5, I got 104 ounces of water in, which is fantastic. For the fasting, I'm still doing the fasting and I'm not finding it hard at all. This is day 5. I thought I was going to be like, oh, this is a huge lifestyle change. I'm just not going to be able to do this at all. What I did notice is that by day 5, my husband has also started doing the intermittent fasting. And I don't know if it's because I'm going crazy, like, oh my gosh, this is working so well for me, or he's seen significant change in my moods or what, I'm not sure. But now my husband is intermittent fasting as well. He has not come to the gym with me yet, which is our 2 slides from now, which is our workouts. He has not come to the gym with me yet, but he has started doing the fasting. When I talk about the nourishment, coming back from the fast, one of the things that was really important to me is that I reintroduced protein into my diet. So what I'm eating is I'm eating lightly cooked salmon, I'm eating some eggs, and I'm eating avocados along with my spinach and banana smoothie. So I'm thinking natural foods, not refined processed foods. And so for me, the rule is if it comes in a box, a bag, or a can, I'm not eating it right now because those are going to be the highly processed foods. So if this is something that nature gave us, that's going to be my goal for right now. And I will slowly reintroduce other things into my diet and then see how my body reacts, right? That's the goal for the nourishment right now. All right, so the moods. I am in a fantastic mood. I felt great yesterday. I was on my A game all day. So there was one day this last week where I was kind of like, a little irritable. And I want to remind you during the research of doing the fasting that the irritability is a possibility. And as your body detoxes and it starts kicking that bad stuff out of your system and it starts devouring your body fat, some weird things are going to happen. And it's possible that you will feel lethargic, like I just feel so tired, or like you feel maybe sick. And the reason being is when your body starts detoxing, what it's doing is it's like purging your system. So my question is it okay to feel sick for a minute while your body heals itself? And the answer is yes, that's perfectly okay because that's how I felt anyway. I felt that before I started doing the intermittent fasting. So if I feel a little tired or grumpy or whatever in the process, that's perfectly fine because I felt that way anyway. This can only improve. I have nothing to lose by trying. And so, again, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a doctor. Please check with your doctor if you're going to try something like this. But the thing that I noticed was I've only seen improvement. Only my moods have changed. They've increased. I've done a whole lot better. I'm a whole lot happier. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. All right. The next thing, the business impact. I had some interesting stuff happen yesterday, and I wrote about it on the lifelongproductions.com/burnout blog because I had a weird situation, and that goes to tomorrow's challenges. The next slide. The challenges is what is you're dealing with in your business. And I'm documenting this as well because there's a bunch of stuff that we normally behave and respond to a certain way. And then if we're altering our body chemistry with fasting and exercise and sleep and diet changes and all that stuff, does that affect our business? And the answer is yes, it does. So yesterday there was a guest who had canceled no call, no show twice for our podcast. So he got banned from ever booking with us again. Then he pitched an adult tantrum and he started attacking one of my team members who books the shows. And I hired the team member. I gave the team member the job. And then I said, I'm going to stand by the team member because they did exactly what our procedure says is if we have 2 no call, no shows, we ban this person from ever joining us again. And the person got all fit to be tied and started saying, well, I never got your emails. I never got your texts or your phone calls or all the reminders that you sent me and my agent and all the things. And then he proceeded to screenshot them and send them to us. Well, but you didn't say that I had to confirm. And like right there in the middle, it would say C to confirm, D to decline. I mean, it was just like right there as plain as day. The guy was just an idiot. And we have a personal policy that we don't engage with idiots. But because this email that he sent was copied to everyone on my team and all of the other show hosts of the show and his agent and all these people, I felt like I had to jump in and say, hey, listen, this is our policy. You were given the policy. Everybody here got the same emails and texts and phone calls and everything that you got. So if you didn't get them, we don't know why. And right here in the screenshots of the emails you didn't receive, it says, click C to confirm and D to decline, right? Like right here is plain as day. So we usually don't engage, and I did engage, but then there was limits. So when he kept firing stuff back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, I literally deleted and blocked him. Okay. So I responded up to a point like, hey, I've been professional now. Here's the answer. Boom. That was a challenge for me yesterday because I kept saying to myself, okay, I've been fasting. How am I going to respond so I don't sound cranky? Things like that, right? So that was a challenge in trying to deal with that situation and not still be the best version of myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So the progress for my body, how did I do? And I've updated you with all of the different updates from my heart. My heart is feeling a whole lot stronger. I really pushed it this week in my workouts. I feel like as a muscle, it's getting a whole lot stronger this week. And I found that my breathing inside the swimming pool was a lot more rhythmic, if you will. As far as my knee surgery goes, I've been running up and down the stairs of my house yesterday and today, and I feel absolutely fantastic. So I'm not 100% yet. There's still a catch in my knee, but I was able to swim a little bit of the breaststroke yesterday, which is a huge improvement from even the past few days this week. As far as menopause goes, I have not resolved menopause yet. It's here, and I don't know how long it's here for, but I have started doing some online research to find out different vitamins and supplements that would be advantageous to this phase of my journey. So I'll keep you posted on that as I go. As far as the where you can find me, we've talked about that a little bit already. That's going to be at lifelongproductions.com/burnout. where you can watch the progress and the journey that I'm making. And it's a result of Lifelong Productions, which is hosting this particular show every single day. And they're giving us different ideas and collaborations on ways to make your content even better. So if you have started a project and you haven't quite finished it, or if you've been writing a book and you just don't know quite how to get it to publication, or if you've started a YouTube channel and you just don't have any fans and followers, or if you haven't figured out how to monetize it, or if you don't have enough fans to monetize it yet, how do you monetize it in the meantime? Lifelong Productions can help you with all of those things. And so right now they're sponsoring this particular series because they don't want you to go into burnout trying a whole bunch of things by trial and error. And I was really excited to do this series because I myself have been making content every single day, multiplicities of content every day for 7 years straight. And it's really hard to go on the journey and not have lots of hiccups or lots of reboots along the way. So that's what this whole process is for, is you don't have to go at this alone. All right. In the journey of making yourself feel better, and we're trying to do this naturally and as inexpensively as possible, I want you to remember two things. First, leave your comments and questions in the notes below because we can answer those as we go. The two things I want you to take away with is, number one, you matter. As a content creator, you matter. It's really important that you're creating content because you have a message. And number two, I forgot. that's the brain lapse for a moment. Number two is you are enough. Okay. So don't second guess yourself and say, do I have enough content? Can I create today? Yeah, you do. Just showing up is enough. You are enough. All right, that's it for the day. We are headed into the weekend. I'm going to keep you posted on the weekend of my progress because it's going to be a little bit different than my weekday, Monday through Friday. So I want to keep you posted. Make sure you check out the website so that you don't miss those elements on what we're doing a little bit differently on the weekends. All right, that's it. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday.